Cloud Skin Soft Focus Soft Blur Mattifying Products. This is what's in for 2026, and if you want to know what are the techniques to achieve a mattified look that is not drying, not uncomfortable, it has radiance, and it's gonna be here to stay for the year, keep on watching. Hi, hello, my name is Valentina and I'm a professional makeup artist based in Vancouver, and in today's video I want to show you how to approach the soft cloud technique, the soft cloud trend for 2026, which is all the rage right now after the Golden Globe Awards, and it is the term that the Vogue editors decided for this look. It's all about radiant skin that is not dewy, it is sitting on top of like a very soft mousse-like foundation, and I feel like it will pair incredible with everyday makeups and also nighttime and editorial takes. So thank you for tuning in, let's get into it. For this look, I already prepped my skin. I use a moisturizer and then I use this CoverGirl primer. It's a redness reducing primer. I use it mostly because it has a lot of ceramides on it and it's really different textures, and because I'm gonna use a full coverage foundation for this one with butters, and then I'm going to add layers of products. I want my skin to feel comfortable during the day, and I feel that this is a really good primer if you have dry skin. When I think about winter neutrals, and now that the color of the year is Cloud Dancer, which is supposed to be an airy, soft shade of white, something that feels dreamy, I think that we're just talking about the mix of dreamy textures, soft blur skin. It really is photo ready or airbrush. Those are terms that we used to use in the industry years ago, and it's all about a skin that is not exactly extra glowy or radiant. It's a bit more polished than just like a minimalistic skin, but it's more polished than a skin tint. So that's what I want to use, a full coverage foundation, because it's gonna go a long way to just blend the pigments and the textures in your skin, rather than trying to achieve like a full coverage look or a more coverage look with, let's say, a skin tint and then concealer, because those are two different textures and it can get very messy very fast. When I think of soft cloud, I think about something that it feels like a tissue that is kind of translucent, but it is soft, and I feel like you can achieve that with different textures. So a neutral look doesn't have to be boring. A neutral look can be actually really editorial and polished and beautiful, and the way that you're gonna go about it is just playing with the different products that you're gonna use and not overdoing any color, but just focusing on the textures that will contour your face and will give you just like an airbrush look. I'm going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation, and I love this one. It's really affordable, it's available in many countries, and it is basically a drugstore product, and I feel like it really has a great shade range and it works fantastically on different skin tones. I feel like for oily skin it's really good, but if you have dry skin, it will not dry your skin. It will give you a soft texture, and that's what I chose this one. And what we're going to do is pair it with a luminizer. In this case, I chose the CoverGirl Skin Luminizer. This is a new product to me and I really like it. It's been on my kit for about a month, and I feel like it's really soft. It really makes great with your foundation. This is the first technique that we need to achieve this sort of like radiant, luminous, but soft cloud skin. So I'm the kind of makeup artist that like to use my hands as my palette. Sometimes I will use a small makeup palette, so I'm not transferring pigment to other things, so it's okay if you do it this way. So we have our foundation here. I probably applied too much, don't do as I do, but here's the luminizer, and we're going to include this product. This is going to make our foundation a bit more malleable, and this will help it glide in your skin better and then you will have the radiance already in the product. Sometimes you can see that the base, you apply the luminizer first and then you apply a different product, and it's advertising that way, but it only works when you have a skin tint on top, because skin tints don't have that much pigment, so you have that translucent feeling to them, and then the radiance of the primer comes through. But if you're going to use a full coverage foundation, it doesn't work that way. Full pigments in a foundation will cover the radiance, so you want to mix it in your product. It will not become runny or messed up the formula. It will just add a little bit of pearl to it without having to use highlighter all over your face. So we're going to start in our redness areas. I like to start, sometimes I know that there is a common theme or starting in the center of your face and then spread outwards, but here's the trick. I feel that when you apply foundation literally in the center, in your nose, under your nose, in your chin area, you have too much product accumulated in those areas where you produce a lot of oil, and then the mix of those oils and excess product can basically break down around your nose. If you notice that foundation runs out of your nose, sometimes it's because you are applying all the load of product starting there and you don't have a space to basically buff it in or just blend it out. So I like to start in the cheek area, because then you have enough space to blend your foundation outwards and towards the center. You don't need that much coverage in your center. You can use either your powders or your concealers for this area, for your basically the middle line of your face, and then you just have coverage where you need it. The majority of people need coverage in these areas, so that's why I like to start there. I'm using a foundation brush from Colourpop, and I really like their brushes. If you ever need affordable brushes, I recommend them. Whatever you have left over in your fingers, you can start building coverage where you need it. Always remember to bring your foundations in circular motions down your jawline, just to blend the color, so you don't have a line of pigment that basically is two different colors. You want to even out the skin under your chin, so it looks like one smooth transition. And I like, for this effect, I like to tap it in first and then do soft circular motions to really give it that sort of soft texture. You see how you can blend, push and do circles, and then just buff the rest of the product. And at this point you're thinking, well, the skin doesn't look exactly glowy, 100% glowy. That's on purpose. That's what we want. We don't want a radiant base. We want a soft, modified base. That's what a cloud skin looks like. That's what it's a trend, right? We saw it at the Golden Globes, and I feel that we're going to see this repeat at the Academy Awards for sure. With your forehead, I'm going to just pick up the product from my hand and prep my brush for this, because I don't really have much space on my forehead, so I don't want to go with lots of product and then try to buff it out and then put foundation on my hair or my eyebrows. And so this depends on your facial structure. For me, it works just by loading the brush and then going softly around this area. And I usually just use concealer when I feel like I need more coverage in that area, because again, I don't have much space. Like, look at this. This is all I have between my hairline and my eyebrows. so it can get messy really fast, to be honest. And whatever is left is what I will do on my nose. If you ever feel like product run out of your nose, it's because your nose doesn't have much fat tissue between your structure and the skin, so it's kind of hard to have a cushiony feeling where you can feel like you're pressing the product, and you can have the risk to apply way too much product and then it melts off during the day, and that's not something that anyone enjoys, especially if you wear glasses. So now that we have applied the base, I'm going to go with my concealer, and in this case I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape ink, but this is a creamy formula, and I love it because it has enough coverage for all the areas that I want to correct, but it's really creamy, as it says, and it actually doesn't crease, and a little goes a long way. And I like this one because it's not a radiant product, and it goes with the soft blur skin that we want to achieve for this look. And again, I put the product on my hand just like this. I like this because concealers tend to have, like the applicator of concealers tend to have way too much product on the tip, and you can run the risk of overload your brushes really fast or your under eye area. So it's better to just pick a product with a concealer brush and build that from there. And I have the majority of my darkness here in the inner corners, more so than under my eyes. And yes, I applied a little bit extra than what I would typically think that I need, just because I will let it sit a little bit, kind of self-set, and then remove the excess. We're going for a set, soft look, not an overdone base. So we want to control the places where we really put product, and we want to have a plan for where the textures that we're using are going to fit and what each texture does for our look. For example, I do have redness here, so I like to use the remaining product on the bridge of my nose, just for like a soft highlight effect. I haven't put any more product on my brush. I'm just continues to blend. I let it sit for a minute or two, and I'm just blending the product down to my cheek area. And I'm gonna pick a little bit more product in my brush and work around the redness on my chin. I don't want to put my foundation here. It's not necessary. This is enough pigment to cover anything that I want to make even, without adding basically extra moisture. Concealers basically have way more pigment than a foundation. So when you just need to retouch, a little bit of concealer will do the trick. Nature is saying hi. I'm pressing the product into my skin. This will help with longevity and wear time during the day. Or if you're doing this for a date night or a night out, pushing the product in the skin gives longevity to the products. It basically helps it merge with whatever primers you have, and you're removing oil as you're pressing your brush. I'm softly running this brush without any excess product on my eyelids just to even out their color. Now for powders, I'm going to use a mix of powders. This one is from Tower 28 and it's a pink shade, kind of like a brightening powder, and this one is from NYX and it is Can't Stop Won't Stop, and it is a beautiful setting powder. It has a bit of coverage. It kind of feels like a foundation sometimes. It's not a foundation, but it will give you an extra coverage. I like it for this look. And here are the two shades. I like to use this one to make it an adjustment not just under my eyes but on areas of my face that I would like to look a bit more blurred and soft, and this one will just complement the undertone of the foundation that I just used. I feel like this one has worked really great with my skin because I do have dry skin, and this feels really creamy. It doesn't make my skin dry during the day, so that's what I chose. This is a Real Techniques brush, and I'm going to pick some of the Tower 28 setting powder to set my under eye. Again, pressing motions. Remember, this is a mattified, soft mattifying look. This is a great brush to get in the inner corner. And I'm going with the setting powder for the rest of the face. I'm gonna use a very fluffy brush. It's an angular brush. It's supposed to be for bronzer or blush. I like to use the same brush to apply my powders, and then if I'm using a powder bronzer or a powder blush, I'll just use the same. It makes it look more blended. Notice how I am continuing the pressing motion and circular motion. That's what makes your skin very soft. I love that we're now calling this technique soft cloud. I think it's so poetic. It's so much better than calling it photo ready. I like it because it feels like an editorial name for the technique, the soft cloud skin. And I'm applying the powder into my eyelids. I'm not going for a crazy eyeshadow look today. I'm going to use just like a soft shimmery shade to add that gradient, but that's it. So keeping up with the technique, I'm going to use a cool tone contour powder. So for this look, I want to just look straight into the mirror, and so starting from my hairline towards my nose, in this motion, I'm placing this just right under my cheekbone, but not so down that it will make me look a bit scary. I feel when contours are really low, I think that they can give you a look as if you're tired. I like to apply under my jawline, sort of to keep the harmony of the colors, and of course a little bit on my forehead. Now I'm going to go with the eyeshadow brush and pick the darkest shade of my contour. It's a beautiful color for just giving definition to my eyes. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Now, because we are playing with textures to give a very soft, radiant look to your skin after this, in this case, I'm going to use a Huda Beauty blush. This is like the travel size, and I don't really purchase liquid blushes in the full size except the Rare Beauty one, because I absolutely love that formula and I use it all the time. But I don't think I haven't found a color like this in a different company, so I'm going to stick with this one. It is really pretty, and I'm going to put the name of the shade on the screen because I can't read. I cannot read this, it's too small. I'm going to apply this directly on my face. We'll use the same brush. Yes, this one had powder. It doesn't matter, it's going to just blend the product in. I chose this shade because it brings back a little bit of color, playful radiance to the skin. It is a liquid, so sits really well on top of your powder formulas, blends really easy, and it is a color that complements my undertones. I'm pleased with the amount of color that I have. I need to even out this side a little bit more, and now that I have this, we're going to go with the fun products, the ones that are going to tie this look together and give us that beautiful trendy cloud skin, soft winter radiance. I unintentionally chose mostly drugstore products because they're killing it and I really like them. This is from Pixie Beauty and it's an eyeliner in the shade Brightening Lilac. And this is from Essence, and it is a radiant holographic highlighter, which I'm so excited to use. Very trending right now, coming on really strong for this year, and man, it's just so beautiful. For this one, I'm going to actually use a fluffy brush like this, because you have to think about this like skin that's like a soft powder petal that reflects like, it's like morning dew. Beautiful soft petal texture that's kind of velvety, but it's still radiant and reflects light naturally. So that's kind of how I feel this trend is going to be. And if you want your highlighters to complement your skin to give up that effect, a big fluffy brush is how you do it. And we're going to go over the entire area, not just like placement. This time I will take it over my nose gently, whatever was left. And I love this. I feel that you shouldn't be afraid of highlighters. I know that some people have basically been not so nice about people having texture on their skin, but that's not real. We all have texture on our skin. It doesn't matter. Enjoy it. Just go for the look. And now remember the concealer brush that we use. We're going to basically, wherever our highlighter meets our under eye, we're going to blend that a little bit more. And here. And now I'm going to use the eyeliner to that line in this light shade. We're going for a coordination of colors between our eyes and our skin and our outfit. I'm going to also apply in the inner corners of my eyes and just a little bit upwards on my eyelids, not so much, and clean any mistake that you make. I apply a little bit too much on this eye, and I'm going in again, tapping my product, because this one has a leftover from my bronzer. It will basically make it kind of like a sandwich between the products, and that makes it look better. If you notice, my skin is radiant, but it's not dewy, and it has a soft texture to it, and that's basically how you achieve the soft cloud effect on your skin. You can leave your eyes as they are and just apply your mascara. Because I want to do my editorial take on this, I'm going to use the same highlighter as in my eyelids, just to add extra light to my face, but you don't need this. Is just an extra if you want a little bit more sparkle for a dinner night, for example. So pretty. I feel like I'm trend mixing, because the trends for 2026 called for chrome eyes. I'm gonna do my lips first for this look, because it's a cool tone inspired look. I'm going to use a lip liner, and this is the Makeup Forever Artist Pencil in the shade Endless Cacao. It is almost like a gray color. I already had a lip balm on my lips to make this soft. That's another trend I read, that very much blurred lips are going to be in. And I wanted to go for like the same idea of blurred, effortless lips. I would like to use this Revlon lipstick. I think the name is Skyping, and this is like a pearly white base lipstick. It is from the 2000s, the end of the 1990s and early 2000s. I remember one of my family members loved this lipstick, and here we are again reviving this trend. I'm here for it, and I feel like, because this is kind of like a white based lipstick, which is so interesting. I think it will be beautiful for a new take on makeup and structural makeup and contour lips, because this is basically a contour lip look. It's just a new 2026 revised version of it. Mascara time. For this look, I'm going to use a very black mascara. It has to be impactful This is not about blending in, this is a statement look. The mascara that I use for this look is the MAC Stack mascara in Blackest Black, I think. I don't know if it's called Blackest Black, but it's the blackest mascara that they offer. So there you have it, that's a look taken for my skin. Just added an extra touch of water to blend the highlighter a little bit more with the skin. So that's the look. I hope you enjoy the technique. Try it, play with texture, use different types of highlighters, contour products or bronzers, a nice full coverage foundation. Buff it in, don't be afraid. It's in for 2026. I hope you enjoyed the look. If you did, subscribe, give me a like, a comment. If you have any questions, let them down below. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!